Good afternoon and welcome to Between Two Teapots. Our guest today is the Oolong drunk, Mr. Cody Wade, who is making coffee.
Hey guys, yeah, so I got this new pour over for Christmas and I've been dying to try it with the new Nicaraguan that I got. And also,
This is Between Two Teapots, man. Between Two Teapots, not two coffee pots. Did you get the memo?
I was gonna say I got my new Blanche coffee mug that I've been dying to try out because she says eat dirt and die. But that's like something you would want to say to someone you dislike, but you would
I
never
think we're gonna have to reschedule. I think we're gonna have to reschedule the stream. Somebody clearly got the wrong message.
Oh, we were here for tea.
This is tea. You run the tea blog, right?
Okay,
What do you got? What do you got? You got some tea there for us too. Nice. Okay, you did. All right.
Okay,
awesome.
so I got
Thank
this
you.
for backup just in case.
Whew. I was a little stressed there for a second. Thought I got the wrong Cody on my stream. It's all right. We like coffee here too. I'm a coffee fan. I just don't drink coffee much lately anymore. But you'd make a couple people in the stream laugh. So
I was gonna say I'm in the closet when it comes to coffee.
yeah. Okay. There's nothing wrong with coffee. There's some really awesome coffees out there. It's drinking tons and tons of coffee that really got me into the finer scene of drinking high-end beverages and things. And so when I got into tea, it was just like, ooh, this makes sense. Cool. A lot of people in chat. People saying hi. Corey says this was rehearsed. He says that we rehearsed the coffee joke.
I would never rehearse my Blanche mug. Okay.
So wait a minute. Are you using a gaiwan? Are you using a gaiwan on Between Two Teapots?
Okay, I fail at life, but I will at least admit it. No, I've had a caffeine overload today, and this was like one of the smaller vessels that I have. So in my mind, I'm like, this won't be caffeine over. I don't have. Do I? We'll just say I failed at life. I can go get a teapot, but I failed.
It's all good. If I think people will give you a pass. I don't know. Are we gonna give him a pass? You're at least brewing Honeymoon, right? You're 0 for 2 so far.
Yeah, so at least I'm not doing a water session this time where like 6 times in the past 6 months I would have like a session of tea and just be brewing water, forget to put the tea in there and like 5 infusions in of water. I'm
wow.
Like, why is this
really
not
light? This tea is really light.
I know. So I got whatever is left of my cake of honeymoon that we worked on together.
Well,
and
go ahead.
Oh, I got about 4.5 grams in this gaiwan, and it's about 65 milliliters.
All right. So this is a honeymoon. The design here. Stephanie, evil Ducky on Instagram, did the design for this, which is pretty cool stuff. And yeah, this was I think you probably messaged me in 2017. You're like, hey, I got an idea for a tea, and I was just like, I'm always open to ideas for teas. There we go. Look at these gorgeous leaves, guys. Look at that. It's awesome. This is a really nice. And yeah, so I think you reached out to me before we went to China that spring, and you're like, hey, I got this idea for a tea. I want to call it Honeymoon. I want it to have like lots of really awesome, tasty manjuan in it, and I'll help find somebody to do the design for it. I'm like, okay, that sounds great. I mean, we didn't normally get to. We don't normally get to Manjuan. It's a little bit further away, but that year we actually were going to be in Yiwu, and Manjuan is right near Yiwu. And I was just like, well, shoot, we can just we can swing by Manjuan. Manjuan's a little bit on the pricier end, and I've found it kind of hard to find a decent value for stuff there price wise. It's one of the reasons why this tea is a little bit pricier. I think we sell this for like $100 or something. But we had a really good experience in Bonjang and found some really awesome tea. And I was like, dude, I think we can make it work. I think we can make this tea work. And this tea just turned out absolutely lovely. I don't know. Is that how you remember things? Is that how it went down? I can't remember. It's been too long. It's like 4 years ago.
That sounds about right. I remember going to you. It's like, dude, like, what if we had a couple of these like teas together, and we got tea from this region, and you kind of took it from there and kind of it turned into its own thing. So I can't I can't take a whole lot of credit past that, but I think what you did with it has been phenomenal. I think your sourcing on this cake, well, obviously your tea, all of your teas in general, but this one specifically, I think is just outstanding. And especially over the past couple of years when I thought like, it's kind of hard to tell how a tea will progress in age, especially when it's in that awkward phase of aging.
Yeah.
It's like 2 or 3. But even in the awkward phase of aging, this tea is still holding up. And it continues to surprise me every time I try it.
You know, I'll be honest, I have not had this tea probably in more than a year. We get a little, hyper focused on new productions and, like new teas and, like life and COVIDs and pandemics and all sorts of stuff. Just kind of everything piles up. I've just got too much other teas to try, new blends and all sorts of stuff and things. So I am very happy for the chance to kind of sit down with this tea and try it again, because it's been a little while. So
I was about to say, I don't often see people drink this, and I'm just like, this tea needs more recognition, because to me it's just phenomenal.
Oh, it's a really good tea. It is a really good tea, and it's one that we certainly enjoyed sourcing. We actually have a YouTube video that I filmed in the tea mountains of Bonjang. Bonjang is one of the original 6 famous tea mountains, along with hey, you wanted tough questions. I'll put you on the spot. What are the original 6 famous pu'er tea mountains? Besides Bonjang, I've got it. I've got 1/6 of it done for you.
Manghai?
I don't believe so. Yola and Gedong. All right, I've gotten 50% of it down. All you gotta do is name the rest of the 3. Somebody in chat will come up with it. I'm a little bit spacing on it.
Yes, let someone in chat have the chance to answer.
Yes, the people in chat. The original 6 famous tea mountains, without googling it. Bonjang, Yola, Gedong is 3 of the 6, and I'm just spacing on the other ones. I haven't had my tea yet this morning. We had such a good time in Bonjang, and if you guys haven't had a chance to watch the Bonjang picking video, I get to spend some time in the tea mountain, working with the farmers and the pickers. Zioxio is googling. Ro guesses, is it China? Ruben K says Iwu. Might be right. Spacing, like I said, guys. There's a whole tea company that's called the 6 famous mountains, and they kind of mix up the Google stuff. 6 famous mountains, pu'er. Mount Rainier. Zioxio says Mount Rainier. That's not right. It is not Mount
Everest.
Iwu, Ibang, Yola, Gedong, Bonjang. So Iwu is one of them. 1, 2, 3. Mangja, maybe Mangja and Bonjang. And I'll admit, I've not actually been to all of them. Lucy says Mangja. She's right. Ruben was right with Iwu. So we almost got there.
Oh, those were the ones I was gonna guess.
Oolong is not as well. A lot of what is really famous right now, Oolong and Jingmai and Bangdong and some of those other ones are not the original 6 famous tea mountains, and we have not been to all of the original 6 famous tea mountains, I'll admit.
So the famous tea mountains, that's something that's like continually changing. Like, it's not like the same 6 always.
It right? is. Yeah, no, it's the original. The original 6 famous tea mountains is in history, historically speaking, like, for the past 2, 3, 4, 500 years, that was supposed to be the best pu'er tea. But a lot of like marketing and stuff has made Lao Bonjang the current king, or Bingdao and stuff like that. It's interesting, like some investor group will go in and they'll make a deal with some farmers and some decent pu'er tea mountain, but one that's still, you know, relatively affordable. They'll make some deal with them, and they're like, hey, you know, like, tell you what, like, you know, you guys don't want to go to the markets all the time. You guys don't want to try like selling all your tea all the time. That's a lot of work, you know. Tell you what, we'll just buy everything that you make, and we'll pay you this price for it, and you don't have to worry about it. In fact, tell you what, we'll just give you that money right now. Let's give them a bunch of cash, and these farmers are like, sure, like that's great. You gave me a bunch of money to do the work I'm going to do already, and it's going to save me a ton of time. And then they do that, and then, you know, like that group, if they get enough of those farmers into it, you know, maybe they get, you know, 60, 70, 80% of the market in that town, and then they can just they control the supply, and then they create the demand through like intensive, you know, like marketing and stuff like that, and you can really build it. It's basically more or less kind of what happened with Bonjang in the early 2000s. External investors came in, just bought it all up, and then just started, you know, holding on to the supply and then creating the demand, and built Bonjang into something that's absolutely massive. It's interesting how that stuff works. No, this tea's very nice. I had a very stressful motorcycle ride going up to where this tea is picked. It was a very precarious single lane dirt track winding way up the hill to get to this stuff. But this forest is great. Really really amazing stuff. So, you are a tea blogger. You exist in the blogosphere of tea. Tell us about tea blogging.
Oh goodness. Well, it kind of feels. It does feel like I kind of fell upward in it, because I started drinking tea maybe like 5.5 years ago, and then I started down the rabbit hole, and like like that one does, like on YouTube, but I happened to do it on Instagram, where more tea photos and more tea drinkers, and why is this tea in a big circle? Why is it compressed? Like, how do you get it out? I'm like, that's tea. Why is it from 30 years ago? And I think I just kind of jumped on from there, of like sheer curiosity of like, because for me, for being in Texas, you drink tea when it's iced, and you have more sugar than tea. So in my mind, I'm like, well, this doesn't look like a pound of sugar with these tea leaves. Like, how could you make tea that way? Like, what? So I went further into my research, and that's like what this was, and thought, well, I need to try that. And I ended up getting, oh gosh, I think it was like an oolong, but I ended up getting an oolong and trying it from the grocery store. And I got my hot water from a local coffee shop and put the tea bag in there for like 20 minutes. I remember thinking, maybe this will be ready now. And then I took the tea bag out and I drank it, and it was like kerosene.
Yeah. You're like, wow.
I'm like, all these people on social media and all these tea companies can't be raving about this. So I Googled, so I'm like, how do you make tea the right way? So obviously I did something wrong in between getting water and getting coffee at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And steeping it for 20 minutes. And I tried it again, and it was like mind blowing. I was like, whoa, this, like, it was like the third, I could like see out of my third eye now. I'm like, whoa, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be tasting. And ever since then, I've just kind of been falling upward into it of, well, what are they drinking? I want to drink that. Then I want to take photos of that. Then I want to talk about that. And then it's kind of like, here I am, made it to your show.
So what is it about tea bloggers that have the name Oolong in their blog that end up focusing on pu'er tea?
So I truly,
we've got Oolong Owl, yeah.
Well, I think Oolong is like the gateway tea, because a lot of people in the tea community, their first experiences with tea is like Taiwanese oolongs, for instance. And those, if you've never like had tea before, I think those are the most accessible.
Sure.
For if you don't have a developed taste for tea. So I think that's like, people will like jump on, like I did, into oolongs, specifically Taiwanese oolongs, and fall in love with them instantly. But then after like a month or two, you start integrating your palate. And then like 2 years have gone by, and it's like, what's oolong again?
Oolong Owl is in the chat, and she says, "Hey, I'm the OG, the original, the Oolong gangster, the original, the OOG, the original Oolong gangster." That's right. But she's also an owl. So no, I just think it's kind of humorous. So in your opinion, what is the best tea, and why is it pu'er?
Okay, I'll match you with that. The best tea is pu'er, and it is from the Naka village. I mean, of course, outside of Honeymoon, by you guys, of course.
So you like Naka? You're a big Naka fan?
Yes, I would. I've contemplated like what kidney do I need to sell just to have like live in a house built out of this tea.
So Naka is good stuff. Naka is really amazing stuff. And the last time, so I guess 2019, since we weren't able to get to Zishuangban in 2020 because of the COVID and all that, and we're not actually going to be able to get back this year either. We took a trip out to Naka. It was a tricky year. Things were really dry, and we were just kind of hoping that maybe we'd be able to find something good, because most of the stuff had already been pre-bought, pre-sold, or already been bought out and things like that. And so we decided to take a trip up to Naka anyways, and it was a ghost town. It was an absolute ghost town. There was nothing left to pick, and with nothing left to pick because it was too dry, everyone just left. And so almost like the entire town was just empty. And we found like one guy who's just like, yeah, dude, I got old tree stuff. Let's go into my shop. And we went in there, and it was horrible. Like, it was just horrible. Like, his tea was so bad, but you could tell that the tea was good. But this guy literally had no idea what he was doing. He had no clue. And it turns out, we talked to him a little bit more. It turns out like a year before, he had just like invested his family's money to buy like a small plot of like Naka old tree, and then just proceeded to just fry the ever living hell out of it, and just made an absolute horrible tea that was made from really amazing material. It was one of the saddest things ever, just to like sit there and be like, man, if somebody knew what they were doing, had actually like processed your tea, it would have been like really good. But like, please, dude, do not process your own tea anymore. Just pay somebody else to process your tea, because this could be good. You could tell like the bones were there, the base of a good tea was there, but it was a horrible tea. But Naka has really awesome material. I agree.
So
yeah,
I noticed you don't time your infusions, because I'm over here with my timer timing it.
I roughly eyeball it. I kind of count in my head approximately. I have done timer stuff in the past, but I kind of I don't know. Ruben Case asks if it'll knock you out. It can. The Naka pu'er is really strong tea energy. I'll tell you what we were able to find in Naka that was amazing. About a mile out of town, there was just these two ladies sitting on the side of the road with bags of peaches that they had just picked from their Naka peach garden. Best peaches I've ever had in my entire life. So good. Like, we only bought like 2 bags because they were, they even really weren't even that expensive. They were just a couple dollars. We're like, whatever, let's buy a couple bags, support the locals. And then we just ate them in the car as we drove around for like the next 2 days. Like, the best peaches I've had in my entire life. Just absolutely incredible. Naka peaches.
I figured out where those tea farmers were. They were harvesting peaches.
Yeah, they're out picking peaches. Yeah, no,
I can't deal the name with Peaches anymore. I can't. That name. My roommate has a pet's name named Peaches.
Your roommate has a pet. Well, you've got a pet cat that might be sticking its butt in the camera here any second now. It did during our test stream, right? It's around.
I don't know. I haven't ignored the cat yet.
Yeah.
If the cat thinks I'm ignoring it, then it'll want more attention.
That makes sense. Yeah, if you guys see a furry cat butt walk across the stream, it is not a figment of your imagination.
No, like the one that you saw, and maybe she'll make an appearance at some point, wherever she is. She's insane. Like, so like, like how like a dog will take over the personality of its owner.
Yeah.
Well, like this cat, I've had friends before over, and they're like, "Well, this cat, it's just like you, Cody. Like she took on your personality." And I'm like, I don't know if that's a compliment or not.
Maybe you took on the cat's personality.
Well, she's needy. She demands a lot of attention, and then when you give her attention, she's crabby. She will yell at random hours of the night. She was at my headboard the other night, just like staring down at me, like wake up. And I'm like, leave me alone. So like, I'm just like, wait a minute, we have the same personality.
Zeoxia wants to see the cats. I think the cats will eventually make an appearance. So we'll they'll jump up there. We just have to we have to ignore them. Zeoxia is a cat fan. He's always sending me cute pictures of cats. I actually thought it would be fun to do a live stream with somebody with the actual cat live stream Zoom thing like that lawyer did last week. Did you watch that one? That was so funny. I'm not a cat. I'm still alive. Oh, that was good. That was good stuff. Yeah. So as a professional tea blogger, why don't you detail the flavors and aromas and taste experience of this tea for us live?
Sure.
In iambic pentameter.
It tastes like something Halsey would try and copy for the rest of her career.
That's fun.
No,
So there's
okay.
a little music a little inside music joke for you guys. Somebody will know what that means.
So far, I'm getting a lot of sweet hay notes, and it's actually kind of floral too.
Oolong Owl's like taste like tea. Taste like tea. This is tea.
Don't say if it wanted to taste like coffee, I still have coffee over here.
We're not going to be mixing tea and coffee. So what was the way I originally described this? I think on my I said something like it was like I don't know. I got a little bit somewhat picturesque about it. Described it as like sitting on a warm beach on a sunny afternoon. I had a lot of really strong emotional connections to this tea that just were absolutely pure and happiness for me. The first times we had this tea, especially when I have it now, just immediately brings me back to like the tea farmers that we were with, and just a really gorgeous experience. And so my hope was that if I describe that in our tasting notes, that people might actually like pick up on that and have similar happy emotional experiences with this tea. And I think for the most part it's worked. It's interesting to see it change over time.
The last time I had tea with someone and we made honeymoon, they tried it and they closed their eyes. And typically people who are not tea people, and you ask them what does this taste like, the first answer is like tea, but it's good tea. Or then they try and like it almost has like this background note. And then the girl I was hanging out with, she tried it, and the first thing out of her mouth was, it tastes like something I remember from when my grandma and I had an outing once. And I love and miss my grandma. Is that like, did I say that right? And I'm like I got emotional. I'm like, no, like that's beautiful that you can have like a memory come up from just tasting something.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting how specifically aroma is tied so specifically and directly to memories. Let's see. People in chat are saying this tastes like something you would drink with Lana Del Rey. I do believe that Cody is a Lana Del Rey fan. Jacob wants to know what we're drinking. If you're tuning in late, we are drinking Honeymoon. Somewhere like this. I'm off. Can't get it. There we go. We're drinking Honeymoon, and this is Bonjang based Sheng pu'er from 2018, and Cody actually helped us out, collaborated with it. Got Stephanie, the evil ducky. I hope she's in chat. To help us out with she did the design work for it, which is beautiful. Let's see, Michelle, Winking Cat, Herb, the Traveling Tea Turtle, and Derek, they are all there. We are on their big screen in their living room, so hi, big shout out to anybody who's got us up on the big screen. How fun is that? What are you guys drinking? Is anyone else actually drinking Honeymoon? Does anybody actually have Honeymoon? Do they pull it out?
They should. It's really good.
Yep. Yeah, no, I get a lot of nice sweetness out of this tea. It's a second steep. It's got some really nice color to it. So, what made you decide to want to actually get into the tea blogging thing?
Tea blogging thing. I remember seeing Oolong Owl, and I'm glad she's here because I have to give credit where it's due. I remember first stumbling upon Oolong Owl and thinking, wow, like she is like really cool. I remember thinking that right off the bat, but then it wasn't until seeing an article from Death by Tea from Swin where she brewed like this 100-gram tea gourd in like one setting, and it took her like a week to brew it.
That's right. Yeah, the white to tea butt plug that Siwin decided to steep all in one go. That was brave. That was bold. That was something that you attempted to replicate with one of our 50-gram mini cakes. How did that go? 50 whole grams brewed up in one session in a tiny pot. Didn't go too great for you, did it?
It was stressful. I was panicked the whole time. I didn't know what I was doing. I was confused.
Well, I remember you sent me a message. You're like, "I've destroyed your tea. It was such a beautiful tea for like one steep, and now it's so strong I can't drink it." The tea beat you.
Like I had a chance at doing something great and I ruined it. Like most of my teenage years. Like I think it was like day 5 or 6. I infused it for like the upward of the 20th some odd time. And I remember I was like, I raged, I angry quit. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Like this tea's a mess. Not that the tea was a mess, the session's a mess, I'm a mess. There's nothing normal about this. I'm like, I'm done. And like it took me like a week to realize like this is not normal. Like, you think I should have made that realization during.
Yeah, so if you guys want a crazy session with tea, take 50 grams, take 100 grams, and toss it into a very small pot and try and steep it up. Try and replicate the Siwin / Cody experience. It's
I don't know how she did it. She had double the amount of tea that I did, and I still don't know how she was like managing it. Like a part of me wonders like, was she falling apart?
I don't know. Maybe she's in chat here. Sometimes she tops into chat. Siwin, are you in chat? Do you want to comment on how you actually did brew 100 grams in one go in one session?
Oh, she's primarily. I feel like she transitioned social media like onto Twitter. She is like one of my favorite tea people to follow on Twitter. She's hilarious.
She's entertaining, that's for sure. So I've got a question here. Tom wants, can you walk us through your process on reviewing a tea?
Well, hi, Tom. So I have my journal over here. Okay, so I worked for. Those are bills that can keep waiting.
It's all right. I can't see them. They're off screen.
So I worked for a leather company and I did freelance work with them.
Cool.
But I predominantly now have a tea journal, but I would predominantly like kind of like sit like I am now, but like on my papasan or on the couch, and I'd put on a pair of headphones and I'd like close my eyes and I'd just strictly focus on what I was tasting in front of me, and I would write down the notes throughout the session. So like my field note journal, for instance, if y'all kind of want to see some of like what that looks like. Besides the drawing of a cat, but like I just kind of scribble all around on there, and there's like no flow or anything of like organization, because in tea I want to kind of describe it as it is in the moment, and then it's like usually after the session is when I'll take a breather, I'll try and write out as much as I can, but it's usually like a day later I'll have a session with the tea again.
Okay.
And that's the session where I'll try and take photos of a tea, because I don't want to be distracted the first time around with photos if I'm trying to concentrate on like the profile.
That's a really cool approach. So you start with the tea once, you get all of the emotional information about the tea down, and then you do a second one where you kind of like refine the process and kind of make it a little bit more official when you're not distracted. I like that. That's pretty cool.
And of course, I'm not so good at catching all my typos, so if I think I have an idea that's there, it doesn't convey right. It's there. The chunk of what I'm trying to say is there at least.
Nice. No, that makes sense. I like that. I like that approach. And so yeah, you do a lot with photography, and you're actually a pretty active blogger. This is a question that T for Me please asks often to other people. It's just like, how do you? I mean, she's not in chat, but she's asked this question before. It's just like, I think this is probably a question that a lot of bloggers have. Like, what do you do to keep blogging? I think there's a lot of people that start a tea blog and they're really active for like 1 month, 6 months, maybe a year, but hitting the 5-year mark, which you did, and several other bloggers have as well. That is unusual. How do you keep going on?
do I keep going on? I want to say I don't like change. So if this is like the one thing that is like consistent and like the same throughout, like good. So like I guess whenever I invested in it, my first thought process was I bought a nice expensive $20 tea cake, which at the time I thought was expensive. And like I bought it and I'm gonna drink it because I spent my money on that. So I'm gonna enjoy it regardless if I like it or not. That was like my attitude, you know. Then it kind of turned into like not like I was forcing myself, but it's kind of like, well, if I'm gonna be like drinking it and I don't enjoy it, what can I learn about it to like what more can I learn about it to learn an appreciation for it? It's kind of turned into this rabbit hole. Like the more I learn about tea, the more I realize that there's so much more out there that I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess the curiosity for wanting to know more about tea will always be there because you can't know everything.
Yeah.
And it's also a learning process because so much is changing. New companies come out, new tea companies take new spins on things, and I just think it's so engaging and interesting how tea bloggers have kept it while still paying homage to what tea is. And
well, you're also speaking of like engaging and speaking of community, you do a really good job at fostering community. I've seen you've been doing some live stream things. It was around the holidays where you had like 8 or 10 different people on for like they could come on and have tea with you, right? You were doing something like that.
I did that twice. One, on one of the most stressful days in American history in November, something was happening that day, and I told myself we need a distraction from what's going on. Let's all get together and drink tea, and if the world's gonna end, we'll be together drinking tea. But then the other one was Christmas, where I remember thinking, like COVID and everything going on, there's a lot of tea drinkers who don't have the ability to go home.
Yeah.
Or they're sick, or maybe they lost people because of COVID. And I thought, well, if we're all social distancing and we're all alone, anyways, why not do our best to try and be together and be there for each other? And that's kind of what sparked that.
Cool. Yeah, no, that's it's fun. And I when I was chatting with Marshall N about this as well, Marshall N has a blog post where he kind of talks a little bit about the perpetual tea party or the perpetual tea tasting, kind of like this online experience where everyone is kind of always drinking tea, whereas historically, like maybe before the internet, if you wanted to have like that tea tasting experience, I mean, you'd have to go into a tea shop, you'd have to invite people over into your home. But it's really cool that we can have this experience online. I mean, you and I have never met each other in real life. You've promised to come up to Seattle, but you still haven't made it yet. I know you will someday. It can happen. But a lot of the people that we have very close relationships with are people that I've never actually ever even met in real life. But because of the way the internet is set up and structured, and we have a shared passion being tea. It's kind of it's interesting that you can have that sort of stuff. We've seen that with Reddit on RT and our pu'er. The Instagram tea community is absolutely amazing. I love the Instagram tea community. There's a handful of tea discords out there, which are super cool. It's really great to be able to see that, and I appreciate you working to foster that community as well.
Well, thank you. And I also want to like touch base on something, especially like with the rise of internet, we're able to connect. So I remember it was at some point around Christmas time, I got together a mini Among Us game around like New Year's with a couple of tea drinkers, and we had someone in Europe playing with us who is a tea drinker, and someone over in Canada playing with us, or two people in Canada, and we're playing Among Us, and it all kind of started with tea. I remember thinking, if it wasn't for like the internet where we can all connect in the way that we do, I wonder how many of us tea drinkers imagine like where we may have never had tea before, and like in an alternate universe where internet doesn't exist. Like I'm just thankful because I live 30 minutes outside of Branson.
Yeah.
And for people who don't know what Branson is, it's like Cracker Barrel if they expanded their gift shop to an entire town. So to get something that's inherently not like coffee or just like boardwalk moonshine, like I am thankful for the internet to help me expand my horizons on other cultures, especially tea time.
Yeah, no, that's great. Let's see. Gabriel says that Gabriel has the same Kai one that you do. That's kind of cool. When people have similar teaware. Actually, did I? You want to give people a close up of that? So, I mean, this is your surrogate teapot. We apologize, guys, if you're just tuning in. He decided to brew in a gaiwan today. I know he didn't get the between two teapots memo. It's between one teapot and one gaiwan. So this is mine. This is a genshui with like a little bearded tea master sitting on it. This is one of the first pots that I bought from genshui, and I like it a lot.
I'm always petrified of pretty teaware because I know I'll break it. Like, it's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when. So that's why I try not to buy much teaware.
Well, that's smart for the budget tea drinker. It is very, very, very easy to get distracted by the incredible teaware that's out there. Realistically speaking, if you've got like a nice fairness cup, simple filter, gaiwan, some tasting cups, little tea tray. That's literally all you need, and then you've got far more money to spend on actually the tea. So yeah.
Funny, the teaware that I break repetitively is like the same $5 gaiwan. I have about 24 of them where either the base broke or the lids break, and I've broken at least upward like 24 of them, but it's always like the least expensive teaware I break more than the expensive ones.
It's nice to break gaiwans. Breaking teapots just crushes my soul if I break a teapot. But if I break a gaiwan, it's just like whatever. I can get another gaiwan. Yeah. So Jacob and Dacron talked about the Among Us night. So did you play? You played. That's right. You played Among Us with a bunch of tea people, right? That's kind of fun.
And it was funny because I ended up being like the most suspicious person. And the moments that I was actually telling the truth, I don't know if this says anything about my character, but the ones that telling like the most truth,
yeah,
and being most honest about like not being the killer, they're like it's him. And I'm like,
yeah,
I don't know that was my personality or the way I carry myself, but
yeah, the handful of times that I've actually played it, because I downloaded it on iPad, which I found incredibly awkward to like type out things and stuff. It wasn't a great experience. I should play it on a PC or something. The handful of times I played it, like everyone just immediately just like booted me off, like first vote, and whether it was me or not, I was like just immediately sus. Just me being there. Whatever, I don't know. Maybe I named my character something that just was extra suspicious or something. I don't know. It's funny. It's an entertaining game to watch other people play. Actually, it would be fun to play with a group of friends or something.
Well, now that I have my phone out for the timer, I want to hold this up to see
Yeah.
if we can... No, that the contrast is funny on my computer. Never mind. That was a good idea in theory.
Here we go. Let's see if it works over here.
Yeah.
Well, this is my official flashlights for you guys. If it's too dark in a room and I'm trying to take some Instagram photos, I'll kind of like do like a nice big like light thing like this, and it'll kind of like glow it up. Actually, that makes it. I know it's got some nice color to it.
Oh, sorry.
Cody, Amy wants to know if you have heard of the Japanese dollar store called Daiso.
Oh, first, hi, nice to meet you. And two, no.
You may not have a lot of Japanese dollar stores out where you're at. I'm guessing. Maybe you don't. I think they probably have just cheap. Is it because they have cheap gaiwans there? Is that it, Amy?
We have Bass Pro Shop, and that's the structure of my town's economy.
I got nothing wrong with Bass Pro, man. I can spend a lot of time in Bass Pro. There's a Cabela's about a half an hour from here, and the kids absolutely love like walking through there and like checking out like all like the stuffed animals. They've got this giant, massive aquarium like full of like tons and tons of salmon just swimming around. The kids can watch it for hours. Amy says yes. Great cheap teaware in Daiso. Maybe look it up. Maybe there's a Daiso near you. Daiso.
One thing I did though is we do have a few Asian. I hope I'm not saying it the wrong way, but Asian grocery stores. I hope I'm not saying that the wrong way. And I ended up getting moon cake.
Sure. Yeah.
The Harvest Festival.
Sure.
And I made a joke that whenever I Googled like where to find one, and like the next closest store that had it was Best Buy. And I thought, well, Google doesn't know what, like obviously that's wrong. So I went to the grocery store and I bought one. And then as I was driving home, I was driving past my Best Buy. So I ended up driving up into their parking lot, got out and took a photo of it with Best Buy behind it. And I posted on my Instagram, like, you guys will never believe where I found it. And they're like, really? It's like, yeah, it's by the Polaroid cameras.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't imagine finding mooncakes at Best Buy. Llama loves mooncakes. I don't know, for whatever reason. I don't know, something about the flavor of them. Just maybe just the way the sweetness is, or maybe I didn't grow up with them. It's never really been my favorite thing. But we Harvest Festival, we try and pick up some. You know, let the kids have some. Kind of have a little bit of an Asian festival here remotely. It's different when we're in China. It's awesome. There's all sorts of great. It's super easy to find the stuff here. And it's actually really easy to find it here in the Seattle area as well. There's a million Asian grocery stores practically within walking distance. So yeah, if you guys have not tried mooncakes, you should give that a go. Lucy says there's a Daiso in Tequila, Seattle, Bellevue, and in Bellevue. Yes, we've got Daiso. We've got Asian grocery stores all around us. All sorts of. We are in an Asian rich environment. If you're into anything having to do with Asian food, actually, technically, in probably like any cultural or ethnic food in the Seattle area, you could probably, inside of like a half-hour driving radius outside of Seattle, you could probably literally find a decent representative of every single world cuisine. Seattle is just pretty awesome in that respect.
I'm trying to think. Here in Missouri, we have Midnight Rodeo. We have Club Rodeo, which is the poppin' place. If you're lucky, you can get bottomless fried okra at one of the most famous restaurants outside of Branson.
Don't knock the fried okra, man. Don't knock it. Don't knock fried okra. I grew up in the South. Actually, I tried okra not fried once. It's significantly better fried. If you're gonna eat it, fry it, please.
Hot take.
Yeah.
Okra is the best in gumbo. Hot take.
Okra is really good in gumbo. I think everything's good in gumbo. Like, I think just the idea of that, I think you could probably get away with putting nearly anything in gumbo and it would turn out decent. I don't know. So I'm sure somebody in chat can correct me, can find something that wouldn't work well in gumbo. So yeah, you were born and raised in Texas. Is that where you were from? And then you moved up to Missouri. So that's where you are now. Is that it? Is that the story?
Howdy, y'all. Yep. So I kind of thought I was making an upgrade. Newsflash. No. It's kind of funny because writing is one of my passions. I remember even all the way back in like middle school, I always loved writing, and even in like texting people, I'll write them like novels. Have a reply and like, Cody, I just asked like what time we're going to dinner. Like we didn't need like 20 paragraphs worth of. Yeah, so I coming up to Missouri was not like the easiest transition, and I think maybe some people in the chat might know I was chaotic. Everything was chaotic. I was like every day I was falling apart when moving up here. So
even the best of moves is stressful.
Boy, so I kind of thought, since my passion of writing and storytelling, I kind of took the time with COVID to kind of write about some of the horrors and some of the kind of like negative aspects of why I moved up to Missouri, kind of channeled it to a novel. And after 8 months of writing on this day and night, I finished it. And that was like a huge relief. So whenever I kind of think about leaving Texas, I had more of a better outlook on it than I did before. Because I think I was just giving you like a much more negative response. Do you think
Missouri is going to be home for a while, or do you have ideas about moving someplace different?
To anyone watching, SOS, please save me from here.
If you guys have a spare place and a job, what kind of work do you do? I don't know. Maybe there is somebody in chat that could has a fun place for you to move to. Maybe someplace with a larger tea community. Although you have tea with people. You have tea with people there. You've been starting to build a little tea community with the people that you know there. I've seen some photos of some of the nature hikes and the tea tastings and things you've been on. So I think you've been making good of your current situation.
I've tried because it seems like for a lot of the people here, if it's not Mountain Dew or Fireball, it's really hard to get them to try anything that's not any of those two things.
Yeah.
So I've definitely had worked hard to try and get the people that I know here to like tea time. And I remember I talked about it in my 5-year article that I released a week ago, where I made tea for my roommate. And I had begged, like I was at the point of like daily begging him, like, come on, this is amazing. You have to try tea time. And
yeah.
And he's like, if it's not Mountain Dew, I won't drink it. I'm not trying to make fun of a stereotype.
Yeah.
That was the answer. So one day I was drinking like 10, 12-year aged Yuwu tea cake. And by the way, guys,
I hear a cat. I hear it.
Yeah, she's I don't know what she's doing. She's in the closet. So like he was walking by and he just saw me kind of like melting into the couch because this tea was like euphoric. And his reaction was like, why are you over there happy for no reason? Because like he's like, you just walk through the house, you look always like angry for some reason. Like, why are you this happy looking? And like, you have to try this tea. So I handed it to him, and like maybe in retrospect, it wasn't the best idea. It was like mid-session of this like very humid store, like Gushu tea cake. And at this point, it's like fruity infused basement, and it's like the greatest thing on earth. And to me, it's like the best tea in the world, and nothing else matters. And I hand it to him. Whenever he tastes it, I guess in his mind, he just got like humid, dirty basement at grandma's house that collapsed on itself. But he just like chugs it like he would like anything else, and he just chugs it and sits there. And the next thing I see, he's running, and there's like a trail of like throw up behind him.
No, it's the amount of beverages in North America that are sweetened with high fructose corn syrup fundamentally alters your ability to actually taste sweetness. We've had some tea tastings with people who it just never works. You know, they want to add sugar to it, and I think it takes a concerted effort to actually like stop, a concerted health effort to stop actually drinking those beverages. I mean, I love Mountain Dew. I grew up drinking Mountain Dew all the time. I'd still drink Mountain Dew if it wasn't. It's just horribly unhealthy. It's just tons and tons of sugar. So I can see like if if I was in my mid-20s and I was in my like I'm drinking Mountain Dew like gallon a day phase, somebody handed me a cup of that, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's not. It's not
well, I made other stuff after, and I'd like can you try? He's like, no. Just like run the other way. So like that failed. He never tried tea again.
So somebody Sprank wants you to move to Colorado. Hunter's also in Colorado. We got Hunter and Sprank are now becoming best tea friends in the chat. It's awesome when people in chat can kind of like meet each other and meet new people in the same area. Michelle and Derek are continuously trying to get Lamo and I to move to Kentucky, which I think would be actually kind of entertaining. We're disappointed that Michelle moved so far away. She had an awesome kiln that she would let us use. She was just really nice person to have around. So, yeah, I tell you what. I mean, Lamo and I think about other places. You know, we look for it's always like the grass is greener kind of thing. I mean, I love the Pacific Northwest. I absolutely do. The mountains and the ocean and Puget Sound and just everything about being out here I absolutely love. But you start looking at other areas and wonder if it would be better to move someplace different. We think about it, but for the time being, we're enjoying being here. So is your cat going to make an appearance? Is the cat going to jump up?
Okay, how about this?
People want to know. You going to do it? You going to grab it?
Okay, there's
cat!
one.
Get up, cat!
The brat, she's down there.
Oh, no, there it is, right behind your shoulder, left shoulder. It's right there. I see ears. Oh, look at that. It's a little kitty. Meow. Come on, kitty.
She's the one that will try and murder me every time I brush her. If y'all want to see a cat, I can go grab the more docile, the more gentle and sweet.
You might as well. We might as well get it over with. They're wanting attention. They're meowing. Go get it. Go get your cats out here. Zioxio, you win. The cat's coming out. It's gonna be between two tea cats. I should have renamed this episode. Although I do not have cats here. Oh, look at that little sweetie! Look at that little sweet kitty.
This is Sunshine, and I call her Mama.
Hi, Sunshine.
Because in the morning when she hears my alarm go off, she'll come up and like headbutt me.
Yeah.
And like will like purr, and she'll like kiss me on the face, and I'm like, why is there sandpaper on my face? And like kind of like wake me up, and she's like what I wake up to every morning.
So I basically I don't have cats here, but I have two kids that basically do the same thing. You know, Lamo and I'll be sleeping in because we were up super late, and all of a sudden you turn around, there's just like a kid face like staring at you. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I'm hungry. I want bread. I'm hungry. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm sorry. We'll get you some food. Oh, everybody loves your fur babies. That's cute. Thank you for showing off your cats. We do appreciate that. I'm a big cat person. I like cats.
Oh, I want to go back to something. So I think Steve Master Spring is still in the comments. So I have a music chat, and I want to, if you don't mind me turning the conversation into music.
Let's talk about music.
So one thing I do with tea time, and I've done for, it seems like from the beginning, I will meditate. Like I'll put on my headphones and have tea and like close my eyes, and I will imagine that I'm like the album, like I'm directly in it, and I'll just like absorb it. And that's how I have tea time. Most of the time I'll have my headphones on and play whatever, and I'll listen to like a full album. I'll like start beginning to end, no skips, no I won't like go over anything. But then I started talking to a user, her name's T is Intricate Melodies on Instagram, and her name's Tabitha, and her and I were talking about music because she can play the guitar. So we were talking about music on and off, and then I was talking to Steve Master Spring, his name's Sean. We were talking about music one day, and music and other things. And Tabitha dropped one day. She's like, well, you know what's funny? I'm also talking to Sean about music. I'm like, what? Like, are we all three talking to each other about music? So one of us, forgot who did it now, but they create like the tea and music chat. So like each week we'll each take a turn of like recommending a different album for us to listen to with tea time. And we have to listen to it regardless of if it's more Lana Del Rey, or regardless if it's like throat singing or bagpipes, whatever it is, we will listen to it and try and like expand our horizons on.
That's something that you're going to be expanding your blog into, right? You mentioned that next week you're going to be creating hey, if you're drinking this tea, listen to this music. I think that's awesome.
So I am starting a segment on Monday called Music Mondays, where I will write a short, brief description of an album and the tea pairing to go with it. And the idea behind this is, with the album I recommend, and I won't stay with like one genre, I'll try and cover the whole base. Even stuff I'm not a fan of, I'll try and cover. So listen to with tea time, and with a tea that's like a pairing that's similar. So for my first post, I have the first few written up and have a couple of surprises in there. But I might as well go ahead and announce now. One of the first albums that I'm going to be talking about is one of the greatest albums of all time, Melodrama by Lorde.
Nice. I like. Is that a painting or a photograph? That's gorgeous.
That is a painting.
That's gorgeous.
So for a sneak preview, this album is more considered a conceptual, and it's more on the art pop, like Kate Bush inspired side of things. And the idea is, I'll recommend that when you put on Melodrama by Lorde, here's the emotion that this album's trying to convey. Close your eyes and meditate with tea time and drink tea to it. And what senses when listening to this album with this tea, like what senses and will come out, like what emotions will you feel, and will you feel them the way that I feel? And every week it'll be a new album, and I'm going to start rolling that out this Monday.
That's pretty cool. And that is at theoolongdrunk.com. Is that right?
theoolongdrunk.com. I will have my own tab on it, which I haven't published yet. So if you go there now, it'll look like there's nothing else there. But so I'm taking the inspiration from Sean and Tabitha, and I'm going to expand it out to not just us. I want to expand it out to my followers as well, because when doing the tea slow motions on Instagram, I have so many people will message me oh, I know that song, or I know that artist. Have you heard that? And I'm like, well, why don't I just kind of expand upon it further to like the larger audience and get everyone involved?
That's pretty cool, man. I like that. That's something that I'm not as tuned into, I guess. So it's really interesting to see when other people have very unique experiences on, like being able to pair, like music and tea. I I enjoy music, but I don't really. It's not something that I really nerd out about. I know what I like and I know what I don't like, but it's really hard for me to like describe it. Like I don't like genres of music. I get really confused at like like genre names and subgenres and subgenres, and like a lot of my friends are super music nerds, especially being in the city of Seattle. And so, like when I try and have a conversation with them, it's just like I don't even understand like the language that they're talking about. I'm like, well, yeah, I like that. I like your music, but I don't, And so sometimes I feel a little bit overwhelmed. You did mention that you like to listen to music while you're reviewing. When you're doing like your first review of a tea, is there something that you always listen to, like the same one when you're reviewing tea, or do you mix it? Do you mix it up?
Oh, I mix it up. So like if I'm feeling angsty and feeling like I need to recover from a breakup that I never went through, I'll always put on melodrama. And in
Gotcha.
fact, this is probably a good or bad thing. I know every single lyric to this album by heart. So like there's a karaoke pub I worked at for a bit, and I'd go on and
Nice.
sing any of these songs, and they had to find the instrumentals because karaoke versions don't exist for it. I would just sing the instrumentals with like not skipping a lyric. Or then like I'll take a left turn and play Lana Del Rey, or I will play Arcade Fire. I've gotten a little bit more into the electric side of music and hip hop side of music. So one of my favorite ones I listened to last year was Run the Jewels 4.
Okay.
Phenomenal album. I think I had never been left so floored and speechless after listening to an album than hearing their troops and what they were conveying. I was just speechless because of how eye-opening it was. And I've been exploring more. It's like the vocal side of music. So I listened to Fetch the Bolt Cutters by Fiona Apple. That was another favorite. Then there'll be a day where I will just listen to something like classical, or I'll play a Fleetwood Mac. So it's just a huge random collection of things. I know one genre that I don't touch on very often is hard rock. And my friend Sean is trying to steep master. He's trying to get me turned on to metal. And I know that some of the people in the chat now are metalheads and fan of metal, and it's a work in progress.
So here's an idea. I mean,
I'm not
do you
giving up on it. I'm still trying.
right?
I'll like it. It's not a matter of like, will I like it? It's like, I know that that moment will come where it just like clicks, but I'm just waiting for that moment.
Do you find yeah, I'll mention a quick anecdote about metal and heavy metal and rock music and stuff. I was traveling through Australia a couple years ago, and I was traveling by motorbike, and it was kind of a little bit before internet was super readily available, and so I didn't have like internet on my phone. I had an iPhone with me. It was like 2008, but I had to wait till I got to Wi-Fi because I couldn't connect to Australian internet and things like that. So I'd been driving around for a couple months. I finally get into Sydney, find a nice hostel that I can stay at. I get off get off the bike, so I got like bike gear on, stuff like that. And there's just like a bunch of like really aggressive, tough looking people all around. And like this one dude comes up and he's like, "Dude, man, how was it?" I'm like, I was what? What are you talking about? Dude, man, the show, man, it was awesome. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I have no idea what you're talking about. He's just like, "What do you mean you don't know, man? Like you had to go with the show." And I'm like, "What show? I don't even know, man. I just got here." He's like, "Iron Maiden, man. I just got out. They were so great." And I'm like, "Oh, that's great." Like Iron Maiden's in town, I guess. And he was just so shocked. He's like, "Dude, what is how did you not know?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I didn't know. I've been on a motorbike. I don't have internet. I don't know." I just thought it was really funny. He just automatically assumed that I would just must be my appearance.
Well, Sean, my friend Sean, he keeps saying like August Bernstein's Red is one of the best in metal. And after reading the lyrics for some of the songs, or for a lot of the songs, I remember thinking like, whoa. So I know there's talent there, just I'm waiting for it to click. But when doing the slow motions on Instagram, the one or two that have gotten like the most response, like the one time I did like Florence and the Machine, or I talked about her, I feel like I had the most messages in my inbox and replies of people like, "I love Florence and the Machine." And she's someone that I started listening to lately. I was late to the party on that one, but I was very surprised. I'm like, whoa, there's like more Florence and the Machine fans here in the tea community than I've seen for almost any other artist. So I'm like, maybe I tapped onto something there.
So do you? Yeah. What I was going to ask is, do you find that the music can positively or even negatively impact the session that you're having. Like you will, if you're listening to music and you're drinking tea, even a tea that you like, will the music actually like make the tea? Is it possible that the music will make the tea worse? Or if you have like if you have a negative emotional reaction to the music, is it going to make you have a negative emotional reaction to the tea as well? Do you find it working that way also?
I'm more not so much specific to the tea itself, but specific to the caffeine content. So if I'm listening to an album where it's like I'm pumped up, ready to go, and if I drink a tea time with it, it'll hit the energy just right. Where when I take off my headphones, I'm done like taking my notes. I'm ready to run a marathon. But then there are other times where I listen. I think the last one was Norman Rockwell by Lana Del Rey. Um, I had tea time with it while listening to her album, and I'm like, I've heard it before. One of the greatest albums of 2020 or 2019, sorry. And I had tea time with it, and I really sunk myself into it. And after like the last 5 songs back to back just get more and more devastating.
Yeah.
By the end of the tea session, I was like emotionally spent. I was nearly in tears. I'm like, I need to go outside, I need to breathe. So I think I don't know if that has so much to do with like tea and music or as much as like meditation and just like letting yourself be consumed with what you're listening to. But meditation, if you were to tell me a couple of years ago was like powerful, I'd be like, yeah, right. But like, no, I think meditation is just like a powerful thing.
Well, I just want to make sure that the next time you're reviewing one of our teas that you're listening to your favorite music.
So I'll make sure to listen to Melodrama by Lorde every time I talk about Crimson Lotus.
That's all I want, man. So I enjoy music a lot, but I really find it distracting for me is if I'm trying to concentrate on something. So myself, it's been very difficult to find music that is ambient enough that it doesn't take away from the experience. So a lot of times when I'm doing tea tastings, I do it in quiet. I actually don't introduce music into it. But I have found out specifically, like when we're working in China, the living environment we're in over there is really crowded. There's a lot of Chinese, a lot of Lamu's family around, and there's apartment complexes, and there's a lot of stuff that's always going on. And so I find it really difficult to like find like a quiet space where I can kind of like just like sit down, like get some design work done. So I'm always wearing like really big headphones and just trying to drown out a lot of like, oh, now it's like the kids and like Chinese TV and just all the stuff that's going on in the space of communal living environment. And so for me, I finally found, like I said, I don't, genres and names of musics confuse me. I get distracted, and I generally don't concentrate on what they are. Like I said, I know what I like, but I finally figured out exactly like the name of the music genre that makes me do the best tea design stuff. So it's a dark synthwave. I don't know what it is. I love it. Like just the darker the synthwave, like the better it is. So like that is my like if I'm working in Photoshop and Illustrator and I'm trying to like nail out some tea designs or I'm trying to get some tea work done, I put on some dark synthwave and everything else is gone and I can sit down and I can concentrate on getting some tea biz done. So that's my Crimson Lotus tea behind the music tea secrets, dark synthwave. So
I've noticed too, like it depends on the day. So like for me specifically, if I try to like sync myself into a session or into an album, or if there's something going on in like my personal life, I'm not able to focus as much, I guess. And even if I'm at the house by myself, there are times where even in my own mind, for instance, there can be so much noise that it's really hard to concentrate on anything. So I think it's just a matter of finding that niche and like kind of what works. And I've never heard of dark synthwave before.
There's a bunch of really great like dark synthwave style live streams on YouTube. So I'll hit up one or two of the other ones. It can't be synthwave. It can't just be regular synthwave. Like it has to be just dark, just like really like dark. Like the darker the synthwave is, the better. And that really kind of ties into my affinity for like science fiction and cyberpunk, and it's like it's definitely electronic-ish and techno-ish, and it just has to be just really dark, and it just kind of like just sits in the background, just gives me this really nice Oolong Owl recommends me tuning into Star Wars lo-fi. All right Oolong Owl, hit me up with some Star Wars lo-fi streams. I can only I can only handle so much Max Rebo band before I kind of tune out. But yeah, we do actually we did start chill hop music on Twitch. We do put that in the background of some of our streams. I really kind of like the chill hop live stream. That actually turns out really good. I find that very ambient ambient-ish. We like to try and introduce some local Yunnan and Tibetan music into some of our streams. So for the last time we were in Yunnan, we did a lot of freeze frame capture or photo type stuff, photo video things when we were traveling in and out of the Tea Mountain. So if you're watching any of the videos that we did in 2019, I just kind of wanted to show people like how much driving we actually do in Yunnan. So I had a GoPro camera like mounted to the front window, and I did a time lapse. There you go. That's the term I was looking for. Time lapse videos, and then set it to a local like Yunnan music and things like that, which was kind of a fun. It was a fun little thing. So we do try to integrate into interesting musical elements. But I'll tell you that's not my specific forte, and so it's nice to see. Somebody like you, and I've been able to meet some other people, and you're kind of working to bring more focus onto music and tea. I like that.
Well, when I grew up in Texas, you had the Queen of Tejano, Selena Quintanilla, and she is the queen of all music, and that this is the Texan in me coming out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to see like growing up in Texas where she's like a household name. And I want to say, like, because of streaming becoming so available in every aspect of music, and music kind of shifting away from radio and traditional album making, going to streaming, like a lot of people have discovered people like Selena, and their horizons and what they listen to is like forever expanding. It's like when they did the Spotify like end of year list, some people would come up like, well, you listen to 300 different genres this year. So it's like, whoa, like I think if it wasn't for streaming, especially Spotify and other music listening platforms, like we would be more limited on what we know is out there music wise.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking at some questions in the chat here. Ange wants to know what are some good dark wave synth artists. I don't know. I go to YouTube and I do a search for like dark synth wave live, and then I just play it and kind of go by, and I don't listen to the artist. But if it's on my I have very limited space on my phone, so I actually don't have a whole lot of music on there. But I do have I've got Daft Punk on my phone. I've got Massive Attack on my phone. I love Massive Attack. I could just listen to Massive Attack all the time. That just works perfect in the background. And Digitalism. I don't know if you guys know Digitalism, this German duo. Those guys are just great. Love it. I can put those on the background, just plow down and get work done. That's probably not like specifically dark synthwave. Ty Guy says if he's listening to music while drinking, he's listening to Alan Parsons' Kraftwerks or Roy Buchanan. There we go. Got some recommendations. John Bailey says shout out to Halsey. There you go. Search, are you leaving? Nikoma says, search filmmaker for dark synth or perturbator. I'll check them out. Oolong Owl wants a KMFDM live stream. There we go. Awesome. Yeah, we got some fun recommendations there. So that's great, man. I like, it's awesome to see how many people in the chat are actually really into music and tea as well.
And it's kind of fun to explore too, because it's kind of interesting to see like what's coming back into music. I know it's debatable the validity of the Grammys, so I don't want to go there, but yeah, it's funny how like some of the albums being nominated at the Grammys now and gaining this like mass-wide popularity is stuff that has taken influence from stuff like in the 70s. Like one of the albums nominated this year, and I ranked it as like the best album of 2020 to listen to tea with, is Women of Music Part 3 by Haim. It's a California sister trio, and it's just the three of them. And it's kind of like you're sitting on the bar patio and the band comes out and it's like a chill night and you're just out relaxing and having fun. That's kind of like the vibe that this like album gives out. But when listening to it, became very evident, like they legit, it's like an updated version of the Fleetwood Mac album.
it happens, man. Like music and culture is circular. You know, you're always. I mean, that's even the definition of culture is you're like taking things and changing things. You know, it's like that's what.
And
That's
now
what
there's
leads to
like an
culture.
obsession.
And
Well, there's like an obsession of like disco coming back and other modern artists like doing their spin on disco. And I'm like, who would have thought like in 2020 like disco would be making a comeback? But then you have Kylie Montague or other artists like Carly Rae Jepsen touching on it, and same with Jessie Ware making disco albums. It's like, when would disco ever come
you
back?
want to know? You want to know what our Yunnan road trip playlist is? What we listen to more than anything else when we're in the car for hours and hours and hours and hours on end, just driving. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, 1 and 2, all of it. I mean, it's just perfect. Yeah, no, the '70s stuff is coming back. '70s music's coming back. '80s music's coming back. It's great. Like for me, it's like a lot of that stuff wasn't things that I specifically listened to when I was in the '70s and the '80s, but it was certainly there. And so there's a strong like emotional reaction. It's like, oh, I remember hearing that song on the radio. Like that was cool. So for me, it's a bit of nostalgia, but it's fun to see that stuff come back. And I'll tell you what, like creativity is hard. There's a lot of reusing elements that other people have done. Like I'll see a design and I'll get inspired by the design of like, oh man, that's cool. Like I can like take that and tweak that and modify that and kind of create that into my own design to be used in like a wrapper, label, or art or something like that. And so I think that's awesome as long as it's done in a way that is respectful and you're not like straight up like just copying somebody else. But yeah. Il Aishi, if I said that right, wants to know what music do Yunnan tea farmers listen to?
Good question.
It is a good question. I've not actually talked to a lot of Yunnan farmers, although let me think. I do remember one night these Yunnan farmers were coming back like really, really late at night, and they had giant speakers on their bicycle, not on their bicycle, but on their motorbike that they had installed, and they were just blaring just straight up like Yunnan cultural music. If you listen to our like I said, our live videos, or not our live videos, but the videos that we filmed when we were in Yunnan last in 2019, listen to the music at the end of that. You can probably just do even a YouTube search for like traditional Yunnan music and just listen to that. A lot of traditional Yunnan elements. There's this gourd that that has like 2 flute things coming out of it, and you kind of like fill it up and it's got this fun thing going on. They've got a very the erhu is often used in Yunnan music. There's like a mini erhu. The Tibetans use like this one. That's a ton of fun. But yeah, just do a Google search for Yunnan traditional music and you will know exactly what they listen to.
Now, could you imagine like the look on your face of like that you see like that person in a distance like on their motorcycle coming up, and like they're blasting like The Life of Pablo from Kanye West as they drive by?
It's so here's the thing is Yunnan is really, really remote, and there is not. It's getting less remote as like better roads get built, and like more people are spending like time traveling to cities and things, and as they're getting more like internet. Most tea farmers have like phones and things like that, and so they actually can get access to external cultural stuff. But a lot of that stuff is still somewhat not necessarily regulated in China, but they don't specifically have access to the Western internet. They can't just go to YouTube, they can't go to Google, they can't go to like Facebook or Instagram and stuff like that. So they have a very curated internet experience, but things can be shared. We actually went to, we were in Jingmai, and I mentioned something about like even just like Disney or Mickey Mouse, and like they literally had no idea what I was talking about, and that actually really surprised me because like Disney culturally has pushed to every dark corner of the world, and I showed them a picture of Mickey Mouse, and they're like, they literally had no clue, and I was just like, wow, okay, like I'm really far out there now if I found people that don't even know who Disney or Mickey Mouse was. That surprised me. So I would be incredibly surprised to actually hear like any modern music or modern music that I might recognize being played out there. But who knows? You never really know what you'll find. When I was back on that road trip in Australia, I had installed big speakers on my motorcycle, and because a lot of driving, just like hours and hours of driving through the center of the Australian desert, there's literally nothing to do, and so iPhone plugged in, was listening to music, blaring it on speakers, and I pulled into a gas station, and I had forgotten. I'd forgotten that I had it on, and so I turned it off, turned the bike off, and filling it up with gas. And it was really, really, really far out there, deep in the bush, way, way, way in the outback. And this a car of Aborigines pulls up, and there must have been 10 or 15 of them in this tiny car. I mean, it was just it was amazing. And so they go in, they're filling up with gas, I'm filling up with gas, and I go to leave. I turn on my bike to get it started, and I was listening to Johnny Cash. This Johnny Cash just comes blaring out, and this one Aboriginal dude, he just perked up, and he walked over, and he's like, "Jory Cash! Jory Cash!" I'm like, "That's right, dude, it's Johnny Cash." And he was so excited, he knew exactly what I was listening to, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So, you never know. You never know where cultural influences get to. So,
now I want to go to Yunnan, and I want to introduce to the culture Hannah Montana, one of the greatest pop stars of all time, and introduce them to the best of both worlds. And I heard this crazy rumor, do you know, that she might actually be a singer called Miley Stewart?
Andrew Richardson is in the chat. What's going on, Andrew? Andrew says, looks like my life now changes. He's going from spreading pu'er in Ohio to he's going to take anime to Yunnan. There you go. That's it. We're messing with the cultural river of rivers of change. That's pretty.
You want to know something scary about culture?
Yeah.
I was at the karaoke pub I worked at one night. It was the night I had off. So naturally, when you're at work 40 hours a week, I guess I'm one of those weirdos where I'm like, well, let's go back up to work and hang out. I was there one night, and the DJ started playing Confessions by Usher.
Yeah.
And this is not so much cultural as it is generational, because I was sitting at a table where on the other end, the girl, it was a birthday party and they're turning 21, and he's playing Confessions by Usher up on the projection, and she goes, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "It's Usher." And I go, "Oh, it's Usher." And she goes, "Is that some new artist or something?" And I about fell over. I'm like, no, I'm done. How do I leave here?
So I'll tell you what, growing up non-musically inclined, the idea of karaoke absolutely horrifies me. It just terrifies me to the core of my being. The idea that I would have to stand up in front of other people and sing just is a deep, 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 deep fear of mine. Until I went to Japan, I realized that I know there's so much focus in American karaoke bars, because I would go to them, I'd go with friends, and there's no way I'm getting up on that stage. I don't know. It was just different in Japan. Nobody cared how bad I sang. I was just I can go up there, but I don't know. Everybody that sings at a karaoke bar in America, at least from my opinion, they're significantly better singers than I am. But when I was in Japan, I was just you know what? These people have maybe never even heard some of these songs before, so they're not going to know if I'm singing it wrong. I'm just fine. Pick anything, just put it up there, and pick something, throw it up there. Awesome, that's great. It sounded great. So I found I can get over my fear of karaoke in Japan.
So I've been to places for karaoke. It's this box set in a corner.
Yeah.
The one I worked at, it was pretty much the whole bar was centered around this raised stage with spotlights.
Yeah.
And it's very much you think you're going to pay a cover fee to watch an artist, but it's all presented who's up there. So I went up there, and I'll go up there and sing every now and then because I know one of the DJs and we befriended each other. So I'll sing if he's up there. But one night I had the bright idea. It was Friday night, and the house was jam packed, and I'm like, I think I want to sing Friday by Rebecca Black because it's Friday.
Yeah,
that's fun. That song's a meme now. It's old enough to be that's sadly old enough to be a meme now.
Did it work or not?
No, so whenever I was up there singing and living my best life, I wasn't just living my best life, I was owning that stage. That stage had my name on it.
Yeah.
Singing Friday by Rebecca Black. I chose that front seat. So whenever the song ended, I look out and not one person clapped, and everyone was just
see that's
me on stage.
That's the problem. See, that would never happen in Japan. That's the thing that stresses me out about American karaoke bars. I mean, it's just, I don't know. You can make either you know how to do it or you don't, and people are not. I don't know. I just get stressed about those situations. That I'd be up there like boom, like you said, like living your best life, like just rocking it on some song, but it wasn't like the right song to do, and everyone's like ooh, and they're so judgy and stuff. I much prefer like I would be more than happy like doing like a little karaoke box type thing, which is most of what you'll find in Japan and in China as well. Like a handful, like 3 or 4 of your best friends just going and sitting down, like getting some drinks in a little karaoke box and just having a blast. But I don't really getting up on the whole stage thing terrifies me.
I think it depends where you're at too, because where I'm at, like Earl's Gotta Die by the Dixie Chicks is like a nightly anthem, and so is a Colt 45 and a 2 Zigzag and a bag of okay, I'm not gonna say that. It's like that song's really popular too, and it's like I go up there and I sing like Carly Rae Jepsen Run Away With Me, and it's like is he gay? Up there singing that song, I'm like, I'm in the wrong spot to be singing Carly Rae Jepsen.
That's funny, man. We got a couple questions in chat. Let's see. Cody, have you ever had any incidents with your cats knocking teaware off the counters? Would be quite the worry if I had any.
Thankfully, no, because it's not a cup that's full of water. But my cats, like if I have like my session out here, I don't know where she's at, but the brat, Butter, she'll come up here and she'll just like start like taking the tea leaves out, and she'll run away and just go nibble on them on the other side of the room. That's
what Gemma does. Gemma will come up if I'm not paying attention. Gemma will come up and she'll pull tea leaves right out of my gaiwan, just start chomping on them. Like, Gemma, just wait, I'll give you some. It's funny. Robski wants to know if you see white tea gaining in popularity like Shang has. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, of course. I think white tea has definitely become more popular. It's evident for like the places that you would never imagine having white tea. Like a good example of this is like Starbucks. They had shaken white iced tea, and it's never in a million years you think like Starbucks would ever have like a white tea, but a lot of places are catching on to it. And I think white tea had this misconception of it's basic, it's flavorless. But I think like the more that people explore into different white teas and different regions, they're noticing like, oh, this is just as complex as any other tea. And I think the more that cultivators and farmers are producing white tea, the more we're realizing it's like, oh, like this is actually good.
I might maybe it's just my own personal taste. I'll probably disagree a little bit. I've spent a lot of time drinking really nice white teas in Yunnan, but I just sit there and like wonder. I just sit there and wish it had been made into Shang pu'er. That's just me. I'm just like, I would probably like this more if it was Shang pu'er. That's just my own personal taste. But there's some really nice white tea stuff out there. We can agree to disagree on that.
But one thing I spoke to you about before is like, if you're ever near the Naka village, can you like get Naka white tea? And you're like, well, that like they would never make it or something in that regard.
Well, sure. And, no, I absolutely like I think the conversation that I had with you is just like, yes, I can get you Naka white tea, but you are going to have to prepay for it. And because people like they know exactly how much money they can get for Shang pu'er made there. So if they know that, they're going to charge you the exact same price. I mean, nobody's just like, hey, I guess I'm just going to like make this into white tea today. But if somebody specifically requested it and pre-bought it, yeah, they'll make it into white tea, but it's going to be exactly the same price. Let's see, what do we got here? Robski asks about silver gaiwans. I'll answer this question. Silver gaiwans seem to be the toughest teaware for me to find, at least. What's the reason behind that? Do they use them much in the East? No. I really don't know that anyone actually takes or uses silver gaiwans seriously. And the reason why is silver is an incredibly efficient conductor of heat. And let's see, where's my... I don't have my silver teapot handy. All silver teapots are thickly cord wrapped because even like the handle on a silver teapot will very quickly be the temperature of the water, like almost instantly. So if you put in 212 degree water, that handle is going to be 212 degrees. It will be the exact same temperature of the water because silver's very efficient at heat transfer. So if you've got a gaiwan, for example, like this gaiwan right here, and you've got a silver gaiwan, there is no way to pour a silver gaiwan. There's nowhere to pour your tea from a silver gaiwan without directly touching the silver. And if you're directly touching the silver, unless you've got hands of asbestos, like your fingers are going to be burning. If you're using, it may be more simpler if you're, brewing like a nicer, like simple green tea, and it's maybe only 160 degrees or something. It's not going to be that hot. But with pu'er tea, like that silver gaiwan is going to be 200 degrees, and you're going to burn yourself. I've seen silver gaiwan sold. They don't make any sense to me. There's no reason to use a silver gaiwan, in my opinion. You're just going to burn yourself. So stick with silver cups, stick with silver teapots, and you'll be much better for it. John Bailey is out. He's gone. He's out of here. See you, John.
I'll testify to that. Cause whenever I got my silver pot, I'm used to a gaiwan where I just like grab it, and I got my silver pot. I'm like, ooh, okay. So I grab the pot and like,
top, super hot. Speaking of silver, I think in next week's stream, I actually accidentally told people last week. I got my scheduling things confused. So when we were doing the live stream with Dell last week, I told people if they tuned in this week, they would be having tea with a Tea Monk Po. But that was wrong because it's actually you. Tea Monk Po is next week, and I think I'm going to convince him that we should brew in silver teapots because I know he's got silver teapots and I've got a silver teapot. He has a very interesting. He knows a lot about the non-scientific side of things, more of the spiritual side of things. So he's got some interesting takes on why silver does what it does. So I think we'll be doing. I think I'll brew with silver with Tea Monk Po next week. I'm just throwing that in there anecdotally. So I like brewing in silver. We used to do a lot of side-by-side tea tastings, and I think even to the lay palate, if that's a specific terminology, you can taste the difference in even just in a cup. If you've got a cup of silver and a cup of clay and a cup of porcelain, you can taste the difference in the tea. It's really amazing. What are your thoughts on silver? So you've got a silver pot, right? Why didn't you use your silver pot today, man? Is it too big?
Yes, caffeine wise, I don't need more caffeine.
Yeah, I think you need more caffeine, dude. You're not tea drunk enough in this chat. I'm disappointed. The chat's disappointed. Yeah,
my roommates would go to Seattle and have issue with you. Like, why'd you get more caffeine? I like my silver. The one thing I noticed most about silver that for me I like the most is like the consistency of like keeping the temperature. Yeah. And more consistency with the whole entire session. And I think that's what I find most helpful about it.
You find silver is more consistent through the steeps?
Exactly.
Nice. That's an interesting way to describe it.
Well, I've definitely noticed with like my clay teapots, every now and then like something funky will come out of it, and I'm like, I don't know if like a bit of a tea leaf got like dried up in there from before or what, but like clay teapots I've noticed are slightly more finicky, and glass teapots don't carry any heat. So,
I like clay. I actually one of the reasons why I like Gen Shui is specifically for pu'er tea. I don't really brew a lot of non-pu'er in Gen Shui. I like how thick Gen Shui is. Gen Shui is very insulating. Even I just poured tea out of this a little bit ago, and I can pick it up. I think Gen Shui works really good at kind of like holding that heat inside and letting it get hotter. Silver does really interesting stuff with heat transfer. It's interesting to see how silver works as far as like keeping tea at different temperatures, or maybe there's a very specific scale of heat transfer out of there. It's interesting to see how that works in regards to making different steepings on how the heat actually is held or stored or transferred. I think maybe that may be why some other teas don't work well in Gen Shui, because Gen Shui actually holds the heat in like really long, so it might be burning a more delicate green tea if you tried to brew it into there. But I don't spend a lot of time with green teas anyways. But
and especially like if you have no access to like any way to heat up your teapot, like also metal conducts electricity, and if you had like a taser or a cattle prod, you could just heat it up electronically.
Yeah, if you're talking about the induction stuff, or yeah, does induction doesn't work for does induction work on silver? I can't remember. Because there's
We should experiment with this. It would be shocking.
there you go. Xioxio is in chat. Xioxio does induction heating work on silver? Can you heat up a silver teapot or a kettle with induction heating? I can't remember if you can or not. I know it doesn't work on all metals. I think the metal has to be magnetic. So it may not. I know in like you can do induction heating with glass, but you have to have like a silver disc. Not a silver disc, but you have to have like a stainless steel like disc inside the bottom of the Xioxio says it's amps. You need more amps. Silver can work, but you need more amps. That's the that's the stuff that'll kill you. Amps. More amps. Put it up to 11. Collige says, I'm tea drunk from literally the first steep of this tea. That must be good tea then. Did like 4 steeps of another ripe. He's just plowing through it. You know, like we're taking our nice slow time for this, and he's just tossing them back. That's great. I like that. Collige also says, Glenn, the Genshui teapot I got from you, have had oolongs and 2 different black teas and worked really well with those 2. That's good. That's really nice. I appreciate the feedback. People in a lot of the potters in Genshui and the tea people there will brew everything in them, and I specifically find that they work. Well, I nearly always just drink. I'm just drinking pu'er tea anyways. So
I know there's a fantastic black tea that would be great in any clay teapot.
Yeah,
that would be Air Force.
Air Force, dude, you like Air Force, don't you? The Air Force. Yeah, Air Force is our the Soyuz chai black tea blend. Air Force was, dude, there's really high end material in Air Force, which was why Air Force was a little bit pricier. It wasn't a little bit pricier; it's a lot pricier for a black tea. What's your favorite shape for pressed teas? Oh, and then we need to talk to you about tea storage. Yeah.
Ooh, favorite shape.
Favorite shape, is it the minis, the cakes, the bricks, the chocolate bar, Dragon Balls? What do you prefer?
I sometimes like the balls, but I also for the fact that you can just plop them in. There's 2 ways to take that. For the being that you can just like drop them in and it's like convenient.
Yeah.
And I think it's fun to watch them unravel. I also love just like tea bricks in general.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but there's just something fun, and there's no specific reason other than I just like seeing like a square shape of like tea, and you have to like.
I like bricks very much, actually.
Right,
yeah.
and there's something like so satisfying and fun about like taking a brick apart. I don't know what it is. Yeah. It's just I don't.
Yeah, cakes definitely are probably the more. They're definitely the more preferred shape. Bricks are usually pressed harder. It's hard to hold that square shape with those edges and stuff. We've tried to do like light compression on bricks, and the stuff just ends up like falling apart, which is unfortunate. It's also trickier to wrap bricks. I've got an interesting way that we specifically fold up our bricks, but that's not the way anybody does it in China, and so I usually. It's the funniest thing. I'll be at like a pu'er tea factory, and I will be teaching the wrappers a lesson on how to wrap my bricks, because and that's just really funny. There's like a whole like crowd of Chinese workers sitting around me while I'm like teaching them how to like do the fold, how I want it to be folded, and so then they're looking at me like, I wouldn't fold it that way. I'm like, well, I'm gonna pay you to fold it, so maybe fold it the way I want to fold it. But when it comes to like the cakes, I'm like, man, just go for it. Fold it however you want. And they're the super experts on that.
Although I've had cakes before that I don't understand this, like where they are so like they're pressed like an iron cake, but they look like a regular cake.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, I'll just go ahead and like break this off. It'll be easy, and like I can't get anything out of it, and it feels like
you can control the compression depending on how the machine is set. You can have it set to like stone level compression or super iron cake. So you can do it however you want. And some people want their cakes like pressed tighter, so you can get really tight cakes. It's just bricks nearly always have to be really tight just to hold that shape properly, and so that's why I think the worst ones were or the heaviest compression was like cats and dogs that we did with white to tea. Like those bricks just came out like you'd probably stop a bullet. Those bricks were dense, really dense. So let's talk about your tea storage. So you have a Pomodoro. Is that where you keep all of your teas?
Yeah, so I have a mini fridge and I got it from Costco. So like the refrigerator part is like the shung pu'er and the freezer section's show pu'er, but it's not plugged in or anything. I just use the unit. And then I have like a separate tub for white tea where I keep its own humidity and own storage separate. And then I put like oolongs and black tea. I put them in like mason jars.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so what do you specifically humidify it with like Bovita packs? Do you do something like that?
I do have Bovita. I do have like a massive Bovita pack in it. But what I've noticed is for most of the winter, I had this issue of like, so I would go and drink shung pu'er in the winter and it would taste bitter and there's nothing else but bitterness to it. Where tea is like lavish and complex. And I learned that like humidity, or you can't absorb humidity when it's cold outside or when it's cold in general, because like the enzymes won't adapt to humidity the colder it is.
Yeah.
So I guess my biggest thing this year was like trying to find a way how to keep my humidor warm.
Yeah.
Enough to where they can taste humid and not dry, but also not add heat and create mildew in there and create mold in the storage. So something that I'm just like keeping a consistent eye on.
Yeah, there's a very specific relationship between temperature and humidity, and so you don't because I know some people have been using like little like plant seed like warming mats and stuff. They'll put one of those in the Pomodoro and kind of keep it there and stuff. But yeah, if you're introducing humidity and heat, you have to very specifically regulate that, or you can quickly make mold.
Because we've seen those horror stories of these people's like storage, like every tea they own just like molded overnight. So I've been like petrified of like if I add any heat to it, will it just like create like we'll just like mold instantly. So I kind of like learned to accept that there's nothing much I can do in the winter as far as shung goes.
Yeah, sometimes you just there's also schools of thought in the aging circles that you don't want constant temperature and humidity at the exact same level 365 days a year. There's a school of thought that believes that pu'er tea needs a sort of a aerobic experience where you've got the seasons where it's like hot and humid and it's growing growth, and then you've got the seasons where it's cooler and drier and it kind of has the chance to kind of like relax, and so it kind of like breathes in and breathes out in the season. So that's definitely a part of the conversation that people have around it. I'm not entirely certain if that's right or not, but it might be. Sprank says they tried the seed mat and it added a weird plasticky smell. Yeah, I can totally imagine that it would. Those things are not definitely designed to be. Aroma is not a consideration in the production process of a plastic or seed warming mat. So I can totally see that it might be off gassing. And it may be something that can actually like change over time. You left the seed mat like out and hot in the environment, it may do all of its off gassing. But if it was doing that off gassing inside of the pu'er tea cabinet, it could certainly be introducing some heat into that, or some plastic smells into that. Khalija has moved on to a road trip, 17 grams, heavy hitting. Amy says it took her an hour to unfold the iron forge that we just got. That must have was it that tough? Was it unfolding it or opening up the brick? Shouldn't take you an hour to unfold it, but maybe we wrapped it up really, really tight.
Well, anyhow, I've had those days where it's like I'm like, okay, what do I do with this? Where I've been brain dead enough.
Yeah, in those days, it's just you just need to go with T-balls on the days. If you're having a tough unwrapping day, just throw in some T-balls instead. It's always easy. As we learned, there's a cat. You're paying the cat tax again. Or just take a 50-gram mini cake and just Just toss it in. Why bother like breaking it up? You break it up, you might stab yourself. You get blood in your tea. So just go ahead and just steep up the whole thing, right? There's the cat butt. Cat butt. I told you. Keep the cat butt off my stream.
I've done that before. Like I'll be prying open like a brick, and it'll like slip with like the tea pick and like slice my thumb open.
Oh yeah, everybody has paid the price of blood. The pu'er, the price of pu'er is can be bloody. Xiaxio is very happy to see the cat again. Xiaxio's big cat fan. Let's see. I think was there anything else we were going to talk about? I can't remember. What else were we going to?
The people on the TV who we can't see want to say
meow. Hi. Hey, kitty. I love cats.
She's like, I'm gonna murder you in your sleep for this.
Probably. He's gonna like lay down on your face and just smother you. That's how you're gonna go.
Well, like the last 3 days, I noticed like when we had like our negative temperatures, I noticed it's not warming up in my room, and so I noticed that the orange cat, Sunshine, that was up here earlier, she found like the vent in my room, and she just like laid over it and just like went to sleep there. And that was her sleeping spot. So I noticed like after day 3, I'm like, it's like 60 in my room, but the whole house is like heated. I'm like, what is going on? So I finally looked, and she was like cuddled up over the vent, and I'm like, move!
No,
like, quit blocking the heat. Like,
cat was living its best life right there. It was like, this is awesome.
It's like I paid this like utility bill.
It's just the cat's taking it all. Thai guy mentions that they were looking through old boxes, still unpacking, and found an old Planet Jingmai. I forgot the year, but it was the original run you did. If it was the original run, that's probably 2014 material that was rolled in 2015, I think. Yeah. That's really good stuff. That's probably arguably the best Planet Jingmai run that we ever did. The best of the Jingmai tea balls was run number 1, and it was a simple wrappers, just a Lotus stamp, like bam, right in the middle of it. If you guys still have that, that's just such good stuff. Such good stuff. So Thai guy is gonna be tossing that into their Gaiwan tomorrow. That's great. That's awesome. That's gonna be. I can't wait to hear back some feedback on that session, because that's gonna be a good one. We have like 10 of those left. It's tough when you see like your reserves of tea like dwindling down. Start running out of stuff that you want. It makes you wish you'd gotten more of it. We probably I think that was pretty pricey material for us. First year when we were starting that. I think that was released that first year, second year. We definitely splurged on that material. It was quite pricey, and I wish we'd have been able to get more. We probably only bought like 10 kilos of that or something like that, which now just seems like hardly anything. That's good stuff. That is good stuff.
Do you ever have those moments where you're like, in the moment, you're like, I'd buy more of this tea if I could, but it's really expensive. But then like 3 years later, you're like, it really wasn't expensive. I should have bought more of it then when I should have.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, constantly. We've had that probably with every single tea that we've ever made or produced or blended, and we try, to budget more for certain teas, and I'm like, all right, well, I can get like 100 kilos of this, but like, should we do 150? And then like, what's the budget like? And it's this constant conversation, like with the CFO of the company, Lamu Dawa, about, like, okay, well, do we release like 10 teas and not have a lot of them, or do we release like 5 teas and we have a lot of them, and trying to find this balance between like the number of products we want and how much we want in them. Should definitely have bought more Black Depths, but we bought and did as much as we could in that time, and Black Dark Depths is completely sold out now, which is nice. It's great to see that, but when you have a successful tea and then it's gone, then you're like, man, I really wish I had more of that tea, because it becomes really popular. The Nano Mini Mushrooms, you've had the Nano Mini Mushrooms, right? The Nano Mini Mushrooms is, did you not get any of the Nano Mini Mushrooms? Goodness, you missed out. You missed out on the Nano Mini Mushroom train. That was crazy good tea.
I do have Old Warrior. I still have like half of that left, and I'm still waiting to find my diamond in it.
Oh, Old Warrior is fantastic. That's That's really good tea. Yeah, it's that one's also quite popular. And so I don't know where I put it. I found like a rhinestone. It actually looked like a little diamond, like in a 12 old wire. I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever found in a tea. People find all sorts of stuff, but excuse me. Cody mentions there was a year of the dog and pig tea, ripe and pig and ripe raw blend. I wish you gotten more of those teas because the pig one ages so well in your room. Yeah, it's hard to know. You know, it's when you're gonna really vibe with a tea, and when you do, you kind of gotta hit the hammer, as Marshall hit it with a hammer, like Marshall N says. You know, buy as much of it as you can, because when you want to go back and buy it again, it'll either be gone or more expensive. It's just It's just how it goes. Do you guys have any other questions for Cody Wade, the Oolong drunk? We'll probably wrap up the session here in another couple minutes. But if you guys have any extra questions for him or me, you guys probably asked me all the questions you want to ask. So we're here to learn more about Cody. Cody's given us lots of good conversation and discussion today. So if you guys have any final things, we can figure it out and let Cody get back with his day, and let me go and take care of the rescue Lamu from the kids.
I can answer questions all the way from tea blogging to Lana Del Rey's discography. Just throwing that out there.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. Was there anything else you wanted to get out there? You wanted to promo your Music Monday, which will be coming out in 2 days. So
yes, and there's the Music Mondays coming out. I won't say a whole lot about the albums I'm recommending.
Okay.
I know that I would be recommending albums that have had some cultural impact in some form or another.
Okay.
So I've noticed my taste in music is adjacent to the mainstream and stuff that's more alternative, like alternative pop, alternative rock. Anything that's not like traditional, I don't typically listen to. So I will be recommending albums all the way from RTJ4 will be one of them. I will go from Lana Del Rey to Arcade Fire. I will go into electronic spectrums all the way even to like obscure, like whatever blend of music that I can find. We'll be covering just about everything every Monday. And I can't wait to see what your thoughts are and see what albums that you end up liking. And
so Ziaxio has a question for you. Ziaxio is you want a difficult question. Ziaxio has a tough question for you. I hope you're going to be able to answer it. Ziaxio wants to know what your favorite phyllosilicate mineral is. Go.
I don't know 7 of the words in that question.
It's so hard to narrow it down. Ziaxia, why don't you give us a small list? Make it multiple choice. Give us a list of 4 phyllosilicate minerals, and I'm sure Cody will be able to tell you which one of those is his favorite. Ro has a question. Ro is actually a Linwood local, lives just down the street with us. Linwood.
Hi, Ro.
And actually, I think maybe he's technically in Bothell, which is right on the line. We'll call him Linwood local. Ro wants to know what music you would pair Slumbering Dragon with. Have you had our Slumbering Dragon? You have to, right?
I have a Dragon Ball of it. I've been saving it in my humidor. I've been wanting to drink it so bad for this past month, but I'm waiting till warmer weather, till like my humidor fixes whatever is wrong till it works itself out. Oh gosh, that's a hard question. A part of me wants to say something. It's something like consistent, smooth, and edgy, and something raw. Not that Slumbering Dragon is like, it has its edges, but it's such a complex and depth tea. I would I think an album by like Sophie, the oil, it's like the oil, the unsides of every pearl by Sophie. I might recommend with that for the fact that it is consistent, very pure, very straightforward, but also very complex and depth. I think I said the title of the album right, but that's one that came to mind. Something that's definitely not on like the main path.
I can see that. I'm trying to think what I would pair with it, and spacing on her name. Zioxio says that phyllosilicate is clay minerals. So what is your favorite clay mineral? Are you an Ishin gang, Genshui gang, porcelain gang? Where are you at?
I like clay Aiken.
There you go. His favorite phyllosilicate clay mineral is Aiken. Got it. That's a good one. I like it. Ta-da! Zioxio gave us a list. Now he gave us a list. Kaolinite, smectite, illite, chlorite, pelagorskite, or sepiolite. There you go. I think I'd choose illite. I don't know. Actually, kaolinite's not too bad. We've got some kaolinite blended in with some of Mark Moeller's teapots. It's not too bad. Sprank's got a final question. What is your favorite anime?
I'm gonna go with the greatest. Sorry, can't say this with a straight face. Okay, my favorite anime of all time is Cory in the House. That is the greatest anime of all time, and you could not tell me different. I will never change my mind on that. Prove me wrong. I dare you.
Okay, let's see. My favorite anime. That's tough. I like Samurai Champloo a lot. Really kind of like that. That one just vibes with me. What else? Cowboy Bebop. Can't go wrong with little Cowboy Bebop. It's just so much fun. Cowboy Bebop. Love it. Mushroom Samba. Best anime episode ever. I love it. Zioxio says Cory in the House is indeed the best anime.
Oh, yes! Finally got one person to agree with me on that. For like years, I've been preaching this. Finally, found one person.
That's awesome. I'm still trying to think. I'm spacing on what I would pair what I would pair Slumbering Dragon with. I can't think of her name. What's her face? She always has the coolest green hair. She did a
Billie Eilish?
Billie Eilish. I would pair Billie Eilish with Slumbering Dragon. That's what I would do. I'd throw that in there. I think it's got enough of an edge to it but it's a little, I don't know. That's what I would do. What do you think? Thoughts?
I have opinions on her.
Who don't you have opinions on?
I'm very judgmental, so
That's fine. You can but I don't know. What do you think? Could it work? Billie Eilish and Slumbering Dragon?
Okay, she did have Further Realm of Pop, had a great album, but I love holding. I collect grudges like I do knickknacks and a curio. I will never listen to her again.
Don't do it,
okay,
man.
So,
you gotta let it go. That stuff will eat you alive. Didn't you watch the movie The Grudge? Don't let it go.
If Elsa can let it go, maybe I can. Oh, wait, let me go into this real quick. I'll keep
it
short.
All right. Sure.
Okay. Billie Eilish got nominated for Song and Album of the Year at the Grammys. Her career can be tracked back to Lana Del Rey sparking a cultural revolution in the spectrum of music. Okay. She gets up on stage to accept her Grammy when Lana is in the audience, by the way, passed over, because Lana was nominated for Song and Album of the Year as well. Gets beaten by the person whose music got inspired to. She gets up on stage and goes, I need to thank the one person who I am just so enamored that's here, or I need to thank the most for my career. And you would think Lana Del Rey, right? No, she thanks Ariana Grande instead. So even the people who are inspired by Lana will still snub Lana when giving credit to Lana.
What are you gonna do, man?
I will still listen to Billie Eilish. I do like her music.
I like Billie Eilish. Yeah.
Yeah, she's cool.
Oh, Michelle wants to know. She says we've been talking about music too long, or a long time now. Wants to chat about hidden song. You are musically in tune. What is the hidden song?
It is an incredible tea.
Nobody's figured it out. No one has figured out the hidden song. I made it too tough. Michelle wants to know what is the hidden song. We're going to have to be releasing what the hidden song is soon because we don't have many of those cakes left. So we're going to have to do we'll have to do a special live stream where we announce and reveal the hidden song and officially end the 5-year contest. The contest was, if you guessed the hidden song, the notes that are written on the wrapper of our cake of hidden song, you would win a free tone of it. And as soon as we no longer have an actual tone available to give, we're going to reveal what the hidden song is. But nobody's got it. Nobody's guessed it. So Ben Moore has that tea. Open up the wrapper, play the notes, see if you can figure it out, see if you can guess what it is. There have been a lot of really amazing guesses, but no one has guessed.
What's the closest guess? Are you allowed to say what the closest guess is? Or is that going to give it away?
I can't. The only hints that I have given is the sheet music is online and the music can be heard on YouTube. Those are those. So it's not like I went like crazy obscure and found, like some like Tunisian throat singing thing that's only played in one town somewhere. No, it's sheet music is online and you can hear it on YouTube. So those are the only hints that I have ever given about it. I'm not going to tell you like who made good guesses. The most interesting guess was somebody guessed that it was the Aer Lingus on hold phone music, and I'm like, that's a very interesting guess. So I actually had to go and listen to the Aer Lingus on hold music, and it is not the Aer Lingus on hold telephone music, but it's a very creative guess.
So wait, the sheet music's online and it's on YouTube.
You can hear the song on YouTube, and the sheet music is available online. So
Okay.
Oolong Owl says, even a music professor couldn't figure it out. We actually had a lot of musicologists and music historians and people working on it, but I think I made it just a little bit too complicated. Ziaxia wants to know, is it Baby by Justin Bieber? I don't know. Oolong Drunk. Is it Baby by Justin Bieber? The answer's no, it's not.
No, it is not Baby by Justin Bieber.
By Justin Bieber. And it's nothing by Billie Eilish either. So
it's Boyfriend by Justin Bieber.
it's Boyfriend by Justin Bieber. No, it's it'll be fun. It'll be fun when we can do the reveal for that. So
what you're saying is the more that people buy the tea, the quicker we can get to the reveal.
Yes. Can I play a clip of it? Michelle wants me to know if I can play a clip of it. I can't. I mean, the musical notes are right there. You can play the clip for yourself. It's right there. I literally put the musical notes on the wrapper itself. The song is not very hidden. It's right there. I gave you guys the notes. I just didn't give enough of the notes. Dog Guy wants to know, is it Friday? Cody Wade, is it Friday?
No, it's by Hannah Montana, probably.
It's not Hannah Montana. That would be the one of the more creative guesses, which would have been really funny if I'd actually done it. Was is it the Rickroll song? So it's not the Rickroll song, but that would have been really funny if I had made it the Rickroll song, the ultimate tea Rickroll. Michelle says she can't do it because she doesn't even know how to play the radio. That's pretty tough. That's pretty tough, Michelle.
I can sing Radio, song by Lana Del Rey.
Dude, we've been going on this for 2 hours now. 2-hour tea stream, you guys. Thank you so much for everybody who's been in here like this entire time. That's like 2 hours sitting down watching two guys drink tea together, which is I don't know. I have a good time. I have a good time sitting down having tea for 2 hours. Ben Moore's getting his wrapper now. Literally getting the wrapper now. Do it, man. Figure it out. If you can figure out the song, more power to you. I will send you a free tone of that tea. So
So I'd like to say thank you for having me on your show. I'd first like to thank my mother for helping me be here today.
All right.
I'd also like to thank all the haters along the way. I still did terrible regardless of your comments. I am so unthankful for you. I am so glad for all the people along the way. And if I forget to thank anyone in this speech, I will post the 900-word paragraph speech on my social media so you can see who all I can thank for this moment. I am truly lucky to be here.
This is so much fun, man. I enjoy having tea with you. I enjoy your company. I enjoy your unique perspective, specifically on like tea and music. And I am very appreciative of your blog and the review process and the time and effort and the love that you put into that, and spreading the love of Gong Fu and high quality tea to remote areas, even like Missouri. It'll happen, man. It'll happen. It can happen. We can do it. Everybody needs good tea. Everybody needs good tea.
They do.
Yeah, so no, this was fun. We went 2 hours. So you guys check out. Be sure to check out theoolongdrunk.com, and you are also active on Instagram at theoolongdrunk, and you guys can follow that for awesome tea related content and music. So I do appreciate this. This was a lot of fun. 2 hours of your day sitting down having tea with us. It went by like that. It's done. It's dark outside now. We went from day to night, but it was dark where you were probably when it started anyways. But again, thank you so much. Thank for taking the time, and love you a lot. Thank you for the tea and the content and everything you do, and thank you to everybody who tuned into the chat. Super awesome, really fun, a lot of good, lively conversation, and we appreciate that a lot. So.
Thank you, everyone. I appreciate your support.
All right, you guys. Have a good rest of your weekend. Love you.